Hello YouTube, it's Mike from Timinga here, bringing you a deck profile. Yes?
Yeah?
Yes?
Yeah. We're not going to try and coin our own term this time simply because it doesn't work.
Oh yeah, again, back.
It's the wrong map though, because that's new baton.
It is, but you put it down now, so we're going to have to pretend like it's not.
Do you have a Murakumo one?
I'm pretty sure there's one somewhere. In fact, I know there is. I think. I'm not going to say there is. But anyway, so I'm just going to quickly run through how the deck's built. Slightly old-fashioned than usual. And Aaron, why are you messing around with the camera?
You've got to get it on the mat.
Yes, I might want to use more than the mat though.
Well, I'll zoom out of that.
Okay, regardless. Okay, so you've got the ride chain there. So you've got the starter,
right,
the grade 1 and the grade 2. And that's all I'm running in the ride chain. The ride chain is basically...
What's the ride chain called, Mike? It's a series, it has a name.
Mangetsu?
Mangetsu Gale.
Mangetsu? Yeah, it's Mangetsu. Okay.
Mangetsu Gale.
I was trying to remember the grade 3 now, was that Mangetsu? Yeah. So you start with the grade 0, which can call out a soul if there's the wrong one, but it's a 4K, so good luck getting a decent column out of that. When the grade 1's ridden, you look at the top 7. 7, yeah?
Yep.
7 for a grade 2 or 3, but you only got 2 as a target. It doesn't matter that it's a neg if you find it because it's the plus back, but it's too important for a reason I'll get to in a minute. And when you ride the grade 2, it calls out 2 more copies of the grade 2 to the side, and you can just swing with them.
And then they go back to the bottom of the deck.
And it's got an extra K, it's a 10k base as well, for having that in the soul. So that's pretty cool, right?
So at this point, I'm going to chime in. It's technically a meta choice because it's a 10k Vanguard if you get the ride chain off, which can stop other rush decks. Mm-hmm. And it guarantees a rush, grade 2 rush, if you get the ride chain off. So that's why you use it, correct?
Yeah, there's a few reasons. So the main reason is because it's a Hyakki Vogue reverse deck. You've got the 2 grade 3s. I told you this in a weird order because I have to explain this way. So you've got the corrector, which if you ride it wrong, you Soul Blast 2, re-ride a reverse, and unflip a damage, which is really weird because I think they might should re-soul charge ones to refund the cost completely, but it unflips the damage, which I find weird.
Well, it's expecting you to use a counterblast early.
Yeah, I guess.
But you're using the ride chain, which therefore doesn't have the interaction.
Which is the reason why you run this, because what if you go ride grade 2, cool grade 2, and they swing at a rear guard or something because they think you might run this. You have to have 2 damage on your ride. So if the Vanguard's the only thing you can swing at, then they have to give you the 2 damage. So regardless of which one you ride, you should be able to get the effect off. Call a copy with Counterblast 2, call a copy and bounce back to your hand. Limit break effects, null and void, really. Unless you find the one tech of a limit break removal, which I've got in there. Which is the lock 2, and your Hyakki reverses get 10k, and that's it. So if you find that tech of 1, by all means use it. Other than that, there's the standard Stride Fodder and the Unflipping Perfect Guard as your grade 1s. Grade 2 wise, again it doesn't really matter too much because you're mainly focusing on getting that ride chain off and getting those 2 out, and then riding the grade 3, which then becomes a grade 3 game. But on grade 3 ride, I like to use the Stealth Dragon dual weapon, which is a 9k. It's got the Shadow Stitch ability. If it doesn't hit, you can retire it, choose one of your grade 1 or 3 units and copy it from the deck, and then that unit goes to the bottom of the deck. So because you're plussing, it's only a temporary plus anyway, because you counterblast 2 to get that to the field, and your other unit's here, that's going back to hand anyway. So if this doesn't hit with the boost, then you can get rid of it and search a grade 3 from the deck and just get the extra attack off. You basically have to be incredibly aggressive with this deck to win. So that's why that's in there.
Mike, that's Murakumo in a nutshell.
Yes,
they are an aggressive deck.
Yeah, but you have to do it. No. There was the defensive one, if you think about it.
Hyakki.
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
The one is terrible.
It doesn't matter how bad it is, Aaron. They're not necessarily aggressive.
Murakumo is aggressive since GB.
Other than that, you've just got the Stealth Dragon Captain Slayer, which is of course a card that you'll always see in Hyakki, it seems, because it's just your 11k swinger, because it gets 2k when it attacks a Vanguard if you have a Hyakki Vanguard, which is what you're mainly using it for. It has an additional ability of putting into Soul choose a card from your drop zone, put it to the bottom of your deck. When a unit with Hyakki and its card name is placed in the same row as this unit, may have the cost if you do unflip. So it's an unflipper, but you're never going to use it really unless it's just for the 11k. And moving on from there, you've got trigger-wise, you've got the standard 4 heals. I'm not sure where I'm going to put these because you've zoomed in too much.
Oh, that's the wrong way.
That's the wrong way. This is ruining my video.
Okay,
I swear.
there you go. Try that.
So you've got 4 heals, 4 crits for Yasui, because your first stride tends to be Yasui, which I'm going to get to in a minute, and 8 stands. It really doesn't matter what they do, but this one is the unflipping stand trigger, where you put in someone on flip, and that's the one where you can copy a unit twice, but you're not going to use that. You're just using it for stands.
Why are you using stands, Mike? You hate stands.
Because it's just the way the deck works, and it makes sense.
Why does it work that way?
Because it's rushy. You need to get multiple attacks off, and I can't do multiple attacks until my second stride. And when you do the ride chain and get the 2 out, you can go niggle attack, look stand, and haha. So you're always guaranteed rear guards except on grade 1, which you can just drop a rear guard. But anyway, so your first stride is the Yasui Guma. If you haven't got a G guard, here's the point. Because it's the only card, I believe, I never specify it's the only card because I guarantee I've missed something. But I believe it's the only card that activates GB2 straight away and gets 2 face up. So the effect of this is when you stride into it, you Persona flip and you call as many Yasuis as you like from the from the G zone. I believe you just choose up to 2 face up Yasuis, call them separate rear guards. So you basically flip it up and then you call it to the rear, and you've got your little 21 column here. And of course stand triggers aren't exactly very useful with it because it's a 20k stand. You'll majoritively swing with your 11 here on the right and then trigger dump on the 21 column and just try and use that as a little niggly stand. So your first try is not exactly overly threatening, but that's what that's there for. If you can G-guard so that you don't need to worry about, because you get 1 face up anyway from the G-guard, you can go into the original Hyakki, which is you can choose a grade 3, send it to the bottom of your deck to copy something and give it 10k. So,
and then that unit returns to your hand.
Yeah, and that unit returns to your hand. So the majority of the time you're just going to copy one of the grade 3s anyway, to then make a 21 column, so 21 unit. So that's basically a 21 unit, that's a 21 column. So if you can G-guard, you go into that because it's more efficient. But if you generally just want to not G-guard or activate GB2 that way, you use that. Because your main unit, your Hyakki Zora Asui, because of course I never get easy pronunciation ones, is your Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Choose a card from your hand, discard it, and search up to 5 cards with Hyakki in their card names. Call them to separate rear guard, shuffle your deck, and to the end of the turn they get GB3, hence you need the 2 face up already, because it's obviously GB3 when it's on the Vanguard. This unit can attack from the back row, and at the end of the turn put those units to the bottom of the deck in any order. So you get a back row of grade 3s, the front of grade 3s, and you just attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times with stand triggers, and it's just so good. Because, yeah.
But
they're
stopped by a trigger.
It's stopped by a trigger, potentially. But at the same time, if they have rear guards, it's 11 to rear, and then you have to go Vanguard with 11. If you get a trigger, only one of your units isn't hitting, really. And if you get, so you'd have to get like stand and power on the same unit and get like another trigger for that to hit. But stand triggers are generally really, really good in the deck, because as soon as you hit your second stride, you get a ridiculous amount of attacks off, and stand triggers are just making it more viable. Other than that, I'm not really sure it's worth mentioning any other G units because I never use them. They're just in here for the sake of it. It's not even a full G zone technically, because that's just the main units of the deck. You have got your typical just Yasui stride, which is the multiple attack thing. You've got the rear guard, gets a drive check. You've got your restander by sacking 3 of the same unit, which is the only real one that I've got into before just because I could. Because because this grade 3 counts as the same name as the reverse, when you call multiple units, of course, you're calling any of these and these in your deck. And because of that, you can use any number of these as the same name. So the restand is quite viable of counterblasting 2 and sending 3 back to restand.
Don't forget your stand triggers.
So, and the stand trigger is also there. So that's the only viable one worth mentioning. So it's going to be a first in terms of the breakdown thing, but I mentioned the other type of strides, but it's not really used in the deck at all, so I wouldn't say it's worth talking about it at length. And then you've just got your standard 2 G units, G guards, 3 of one and 2 of another. The one I've got 3 of is your choose one operator rear guards, search for one card the same name as it, call it to rear guard, and if the turn gets, when this unit's put into the drop zone, put it at the bottom of your deck. So it's just your standard, I get an extra 5k shield, so if you don't want to neg any cards. And the other one is your, when it's placed on the Guardian Circle, during the battle the Vanguard was attacked by your opponent's Vanguard, so that's another reason why it's 2, because it has to be attacked by your opponent's Vanguard. Choose up to one of your rear guards and move it to the Guardian Circle, and that gets 5k shield, and then you search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name, so it's an additional 5k guard, because you've not only searched a copy of it, you've moved it there as well. But I'm still waiting for a particularly very good G guard to come out for Murakumo.
What's your fighters one?
Which one?
Your new fighters one, the flipped one in the new set. I can't remember.
I haven't looked because it's not. This is how it is at the moment, Aaron. Don't ask me questions. So yes, so that's how the deck's built in terms of how it works, as I previously stated. Obviously, looking for the ride chain, looking to ride either of them. Another reason why you're running the starter that would stay in the soul is because you're soul blasting 2 and re-riding, so you're gaining 1 soul but losing 2. If that wasn't in the soul, you could only use the full field one once, unless you somehow put a trigger into the soul or something. You're only getting that off once.
Trigger into soul, trigger into soul.
Because you lose your, if you didn't have that, you lose your grade 1 and 2, and then you have 1 in grade 3 into soul. So because that's there, you have your grade 0 and 1, because you soul blast, 0 and 3, so you've got rid of the grade 1 and 2 if you want to get rid of those. So yeah, that's another reason why it's there. So ride, correction or whatever, go into either the SOE or into that one if you've G guarded, and then you go your full field, and stand triggers are active to do niggles. So it's quite a simplistic deck. In terms of alternatives, the only real things that I would personally change is the tech of 1, although that was amusing using it, Aaron. I was like, oh look, my tech of 1. And then I locked 2, and then it's like, oh look, 21 rear guard and Vanguard on grade 3 ride, which is amusing, because stand triggers are pretty broken at that point as well. Yeah. And so that can be whatever. And your...
Can you sort your phone?
Yeah, it's got my phone as well. And I don't know who the hell would be messaging me. And the only other thing is your grade 2. That either one really, if you wanted to focus more on finding it on the grade 3 ride, in which case it would be the, I'm trying to remember which one's which, because they look quite a thingy.
That's your torque swinger thing.
Okay, yes, so if you're focusing on grade 3 ride, then you'd keep that and remove that, because you're not caring about the 11k swings. If you just want to get the 11k swinger and not care about that, then you change that. But there's a Yasui grade 2 which can Soul Blast 1 to gain 2k, I believe, and it can attack from the back row. So you can just use, when you go into this as a first stride, you could call it an attack like you would in Nat Force, so you go niggle, niggle. Okay. So if you wanted to use that, then by all means, and the grade 1 can be whatever you want.
This is coming from someone who doesn't own Murakumo and has only really seen it played. So basically the core of the deck is still Hyakki, so that's never going to change. Simple enough. Your first stride is dictated by whether you G-guard or not, because you want to always get that by second stride. That seems perfectly fine. The only thing that I would say is, removable or different, is that you run the ride chain. So that's like the core leading up. Well, that's not the core, I guess, because that's the core. Yeah. That's sort of like, I don't know.
There's winning conditions.
Yeah, I get it.
It's a main win condition Murakumo have, so I struggle to not use it. But if I was using Yasui, then of course you wouldn't run it.
No, really I'm just saying that basically if people wanted to modify the deck, that's basically what they're looking at to change.
I was supposed to put it down the middle because that's how I've built it, but And
that's still like your favourite.
But even then, it's because they don't have, as I always complain about, in the majority of my decks, any plussing capabilities beyond the on-ride kind of R2 to bounce one. Other than that, you don't really, you temporarily plus a unit in typical Murakumo fashion, then it will go. So it's not really a plus. So the best thing to do is just play as aggressive as you can. I've never really managed to get off the grade 2 because it's either let it hit or I've not found it on the grade 3 ride, because after that it's not as viable, because if you're going into that, you can't exactly copy that as a 1 or 3 if that doesn't hit. And on grade 3 ride, if you don't find it, then you're going into the massive niggles, so at that point it's not viable. It has to not hit, it's just Shadow Stitch, and then you copy it. It's also good if you don't get the ride chain off. You can still make up for the fact you haven't got the rush off by calling that and then attacking and copying grade 3 to get multiple attacks. It just emphasises the fact I've got stand triggers.
No, I was just checking because I was just annoyed it said rear guards, so you can't even do on grade 3 ride. If it doesn't hit, copy your Vanguard out.
No, you can't, no. So that's why, again, it complements it, because you call one. So yes, that is the deck. So feel free to like, comment,
complain,
and destroy my hopes for a good Murakumo deck.
People always seem to do for some reason.
Well, because everyone has their own opinion. They'll probably look at the right chain going, "You're muppet, what you're doing," but some people go, "Oh my god, he's a genius!" So I'm hoping more of the latter find this entertaining.
They might, like, from my point of view, it's one of those things of, why are you doing that, like, halfway? I'm confused what. But one, it reminds me of good old Alfred Beatdown when you used half the Galahad right chain back in the day. And second, going against that when he gets it off is bullshit. Because he freaking gets it and the rush is just annoying and his hand doesn't deplete because he's not calling units.
Yeah, even on grade 3 ride, if you think about it, ride, if you plus 1 back, you've not negged yourself. Ride, you've done a rush, but you haven't dropped anything. Grade 3 ride, you ride to do, again, a rush, and you drop 1 unit. It's just not okay. The only bad thing is you lose your booster on Vanguard, but you don't want the thing there again, because when you go into that, you were going to do a full field of grade 3, so you'd lose your starter anyway at that point.
Well, if you did, you always call the front.
Yeah, but I'm saying you'd have a full field of grade 3s on that stride.
I'm just saying, if you miss the ride chain, that'll always come out the front anyway.
Yeah, and then you can just chuck a 7k behind it, and it's 11.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter, you can do what you want. So, again, it's just useful. So, yes, feel free to like, comment and subscribe. And we'll see you guys later.